Hey everyone, welcome. In the last couple of videos we showed you the installation and configuration of Unraid, and we tested also the gaming VM setup. That was the last video. As for now, the Unraid build is my main server, and that means this server, my old loyal HP Gen8 microserver, is left over. This runs a Intel Xeon quad-core CPU, 12 GB of RAM, and as you can see, no storage at the moment. So in this video we're going to get started with OpenMediaVault. This will be a series as well, so we're going to do the basic installation, configuration, test a couple of packages, and it will be a series as well. So these series can exist alongside each other. So this week it will be OpenMediaVault, next week or the week after that it can be an Unraid video. So that's the plan. I need a couple of hard drives for this build, and well, these hard drives I have here, 4 of them, are not exactly that big. They are 500 GB hard drives, pretty old drives to be honest. January 2009. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what RAID setup I will be running off these disks, but yeah, it will be a test server anyway. What I would like to see is when this setup is complete, how we can back up the data from our Unraid build to this server, that if one array fails or too many drives fail and we lost our data, we still have a backup on this. Sure, I have a backup server off-site, but the plan is to see if these two can communicate with each other. Maybe, yeah, we can install a SSD as well for testing purposes if we want to use this, for example, as a data store for virtual machines. And that can be used on OpenMediaVault as well, and that will be with VirtualBox, so that could be very interesting. I have a 64 GB micro SD card on the built-in slot on the motherboard. That will be used for the installation of OpenMediaVault. So that leaves us with 4 bays for the hard drives, and I will show you what I did with this build. I have a power converter cable which goes from a 4-pin floppy connector to a SATA. And we have the SATA cable for normally a optical disk drive. No, we're not going to use optical disk drive, so this will be the place where the SSD is going to be located. And here you can see a micro SD card slot and a USB slot as well. So we're using the SD card slot. SD cards are not designed to constantly write data to them for a long period of time. They will fail. And the same goes for SSDs, but yeah, we need some storage for that. There is a plugin which you can use on OpenMediaVault if you run it from a SD card, and we will get back to that in another video. That will definitely be used on this SD card, on this OpenMediaVault installation. So yeah, without further ado, I will get started installing these hard drives into the base that came out of it. Install the SSD as well, and we continue the rest of the video from my PC. So I've installed the server back in the basement. Did not attach the hard drive as for now. Same goes for the SSD, and that's because I did an installation of OpenMediaVault earlier on this Gen 8 before we got started with Unraid. And when I installed OpenMediaVault with the drives still connected, it wouldn't properly configure the bootloader. So that's why I decided to only connect the micro SD card. After setup, we will reconnect the hard drives and the SSD, and we'll start to do the basic configuration. So as you can see in the background is the website of OpenMediaVault. It's a NAS solution based on Debian. We're going to need the installation. Here you can download the ISO and you can just create a bootable USB stick. I'm not going with that approach. I'm going to mount the ISO file within ILO, and it's way easier for me and I don't need a USB stick for that. So after the installation is done, we're going to install this, and this will be OpenMediaVault Extras. And this is a plugin in which you can install way more plugins, and makes it much more appealing, to be honest. So we're going to start by downloading the ISO file. Yeah, just going to hit download. And as you can see on the top, download latest version OpenMediaVault 4.1.3. So I'm going to download that one. Yeah, after download is complete, now let's open the folder. You can see it's right in here, OpenMediaVault. As I mentioned before, you can just, take Rufus for example. You can just select the ISO image, select the USB stick, and yeah, just hit start, and it will create a bootable USB stick for you, an installation USB stick, that is. But I'm not going to do that. in the background, I've got ILO open. I'm going to virtual drive and I'm going to select an image for a cd-rom installation. And that will be the OpenMediaVault installation image. So after that, I'm going to power on my server. And it will take some time to boot this one. So I will just skip through this process. It's pretty boring. And I'm going to hit F11 for boot menu. Okay, and we're going to boot one time from cd-rom. Now we're prompted with the boot screen of OpenMediaVault installation. The boot menu, and we're going to hit install. Yes, we will install this in English. And my location is other, and it is Europe, and it is the Netherlands. Yes, we'll leave this at standard. American English is fine. Yes. Pretty straightforward installation, I must say. And because I'm installing this on a micro SD card, it could take considerably longer than when you install this on a, for example, an SSD. Okay, a primary network interface. This server has two dedicated gigabit NICs. I'm going to select the first one because it's the only one that is connected right now. Host name. As for now, we will just leave it at OpenMediaVault. Well, that's fine. Domain name, same. I'm not going to set this up. Root password, very important. And as you can see now, it's just creating the petition on the SD card, so it doesn't prompt me with configuration for hard drives. I ran this on another test system with more drives, and I got the drive configuration wizard kind of thing. So with this, no. Okay, Debian archive mirror country. We'll just set this to the Netherlands. Yes. Yeah, that's fine. No proxy. Continue. Install the grub bootloader on the hard disk. Well, that will be this one, dev/sda. Installation is complete, so it's time to boot into your new system. Well, we're going to do that. Make sure to remove the installation media so that you can boot into the new system rather than restarting the installation. Well, that would be a shame, wouldn't it? Just going to continue, and my ISO will be unmounted after the first reboot. So. Requesting system reboot. Yes, now going to reboot, and as you can see, the image file is unmounted. So, post completed. As you can see, the grub bootloader, just going to hit the option on top. So, it's booted, and actually it doesn't show the IP address it configured during the installation. So I logged into my Edge router and I got the IP address right here. Okay, the username is admin, and the password is OpenMediaVault. For the web interface, and we'll be prompted with the dashboard of OpenMediaVault. Well, as you can see, OpenMediaVault.local runs on an Intel Xeon, Linux kernel, date and time. Okay, well, let's go through all these sections one by one, and let's see what changes we can make for the basic configuration of OpenMediaVault. We're going to start with the general settings. Management is on port 80, auto logout 5 minutes, that's fine for now. Secure connection, enable SSL TLS, we'll need a certificate for this, so we'll configure that later on in the future, but not for now. Web administrator password, let's set a decent password for our admin account for the web portal. Yes, save. Well, the admin password is changed. Let's try that. So we're going to log out. Yes. Username admin. Log in. Yes, password changed. Nice. Then we go to date and time, and let's see if that is correct. Yeah, seems about right. Network, we're going to change the network settings. Host name and domain name we leave as it is for now. Let's have a look on the tab interfaces, and we configure a static IP address for OpenMediaVault build. So we're going to click this one, hit edit, Name is Eno1, that's the network interface card it's connected to. And the comment, well, leave that blank. Change DHCP to static, and the address I will give it will be, it's connected to the home lab anyway, so 192.168.50.2. Yeah. Netmask 255.255.255.0. Gateway will be 192.168.50.1. IPv6, we leave this disabled. Advanced settings, DNS server. We'll use the DNS server of our main network. MTU, wake on LAN, no, thank you. Save. Yes. The configuration has been changed. You must apply the changes in order for them to take effect. Apply. Do you really want to apply the configuration changes? Yes. An error has occurred. Yes. Well, that's unfortunate. Are you sure you want to leave? Leave. Yeah, we connect to our new address. It will be admin with our newly created password. And we are connected. Yes. Let's see. Network. Do we have anything else? We don't have a proxy. Service discovery. Yeah, okay. Firewall. Well, don't use the firewall of OpenMediaVault. Okay, so that was network. Then we have notification. Here you can set up a SMTP server for that matter. And if something goes wrong with, for example, your smart status, you will get a push notification from your OpenMediaVault server that you need to act accordingly to that error. Okay, then we have power management and we have monitoring. I'm not going to use that. Certificates. We'll play with this later. Scheduled jobs, same goes for that. Update management, well, let's check for updates. Yeah, we're going to select all of this. Whoa, those are plenty of updates. Yeah, I just want an up-to-date system, so I'm just going to install all these updates. Going to select all of them and hit upgrade. I just figured I didn't need to install all of these updates. AMD 64 microcode. Processor microcode firmware for AMD CPUs. Yeah. Let's see how it did, because it gave me an error. It didn't install all the updates. Invalid RPC response, please check the syslog for more information. I think it has something to do with the web interface. Yeah, I'm just going to power this down because it's time to install the hard drives and the SSD anyway, so just going to shut down our OpenMediaVault installation. Really shut down the system? Yes. Yeah, and there it goes. Yeah, I will just install the hard drives and the SSD now and reboot the server, and hopefully we can finish our update process. Have to see. So I've installed the hard drives and the SSD, and we're going to power on the Gen8. And let's see how it goes from there, once it's booted. Okay, so now it shows the password. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's see, it should be booted now. Yeah. Okay, so it is rebooted. And let's see if we can install our OpenMediaVault Extras plugin. So we go to the tab I opened on the background. And I will put a link in the video description for this as well, where you can find it. And we scroll down and here we have omv-4. I'm going to download this Debian package, save it in my downloads folder. Go back to the OpenMediaVault. And we're going to plugins. We're going to hit upload. And then we click on browse. And we select our omv-extras. Yes, hit OK. And let's scroll down. And at the bottom, close this one. At the bottom you can see OpenMediaVault omv-extras. Going to select this box. And we're going to install this. Yes. Failed to execute command export. Wow, this is going really well. Export language, apt-get, yes, allow, downgrades, allow. Yeah, we're just going to connect to our OpenMediaVault installation because it seems we have a problem with our package manager. So we're going to run the package minus a configure minus a. It's not off to a good start. Not really. Installing new version of config file. OpenMediaVault. Well, this is the truth. So yeah, to complete the installation, you need to run the following command: omv-init system. To manage the system, visit the OpenMediaVault web control panel via the web browser IP hostname. By default, the web control panel administrator account has the username. Yes, we know that. Thank you. Yeah, this is the truth. This is the setup. So it's also a part of that. Okay. Updating local files permissions. Let's see, plugins, OpenMediaVault omv-extras, yes, install. We really want to install the selected plugins, yes. Restarting engine daemon, done, close. Page will reload for the changes to take effect, okay. Yes, okay, thank you. And now we have omv-extras on the left. That's nice. So let's see, what else can we do? Let's make this a little bit bigger. We can go with the Plex Media server. Let's first go to the update management. Let's see how that goes. If it installed actually all the updates. Yeah, it did. Okay, let's try to configure the RAID. Storage disks. And let's see if we can wipe one of these disks. Do you really want to wipe the selected device? Yes. Quick. No, it cannot. Device or resource is busy. Have you tried rebooting it? So that's the solution. Just going to reboot it. Yeah. Not a very great experience so far. Okay, system rebooted again. Let's see what we can do now. Would be nice if I can type in here. Ah! Thank you, Elo. Much appreciated. Okay. A reboot, yes. Then we go to storage. Disks. And we have still all of our disks, and let's see if we can, well, wipe them. Really want to wipe the selected device? Yes, quick. Well, what do you know? Yeah, reboot was the answer. Okay, close. And the SSD as well. Not the wrong one. Can we wipe this? No, it's marked out. Okay. Let's see, wipe, yes, quick. And that will be the data store for the virtual machines, if any. Close, yes. Okay, so now we've wiped our hard drives. Let's have a look on the array management, and we're going to create an array, finally. We will call it data. It will be a RAID 5 setup. Yeah, RAID 5. We're going with RAID 5 on this one. Minimums, I know, I'm not done. 4 hard drives, yes. Create. Do you really want to create the RAID device? Let's see, these 4 hard drives. Yes, please. Would be nice. Please wait until the RAID has been initialized before creating a file system. Okay, I will. You must apply the changes in order for them to take effect. Apply, yeah. So with this RAID 5 setup, we have a maximum capacity of 3 hard drives, 1.5 terabytes, and a parity drive, well, 1. Basically. So if 1 drive fails, well, it can rebuild the array. If 2 drives fail, well, all data will be lost. This will take some time, as you can see in the background. We will just let this finish and we will check back with you once this is done. So let's see how our NAS is doing. RAID management. Let's see if the syncing is already done. Almost 99.8%. Still not sure what file system I want to create on this RAID array. thinking about giving this one extended 4 and go with BetterFS on the SSD. Yeah, clean. Yeah, we have a clean setup. Well, that's good to know. Let's check file systems and let's create one. It will be the software rate and label. I'll call this data as well. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I'm not quite sure. We could go XFS. No, I'm going with extended 4. Yes. Do you really want to format this device? Yeah. The file system creation has completed successfully. Nice. So let's create another one for the data store. And that will be the SSD. And this one will be BetterFS. And we call this one VM. Okay. Yes. Completed. Okay. Yeah, and there it is. Initializing. So we have our extended 4 RAID 5 setup and we have our BetterFS on our SSD. So let's mount the RAID 5 and let's mount our data store. Yes. Apply. Yes. Nice. So we have our storage. Let's continue. File systems done. Let's create a user and we're going to create a user booby trap. Yeah, we need at least one user. Let's call this one user. Email, we leave that blank. And the password. Save. Yeah, let's apply that setting. So that's user, group. You can create a group and you can add members to that group, for example production. You can give them explicit rights for some kind of shares or privileges, so you do not have to change the rights on every user. So that's quite handy. We're not going to do that now. Shared folders, and let's create a shared folder on the RAID 5 configuration. We call this one temp. Yeah, path will be temp. Permissions, administrator read write, users read write, and others read write. Read only. Okay. Now we don't want that. We don't want others to have access at all. Yeah, administrators read write, users read write, and others no access. Yes. Save. Apply. Yes. Okay. Nice. And we're going to create another share, and we call this one data store. Data store will be located on the SSD in the folder called data store, and it will be the same. Users read write, administrators read write, others no access. Save. Yes. Apply. Yes. Okay, so now we have 2 shares, one data store on the SSD and a temp folder on our RAID 5 configuration. What we want to do now is go down to SMB and we're going to enable these settings. And the work group, yeah, we leave it as it is. Yes, save. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Yes. And we're going to add the shares we just created to the SMB shares. Otherwise we won't have access from a Windows client. So add, select the shared folder. Well, that will be temp, comment data, public, nope, read only, nope, browsable, yes, inherit permissions, no, no, nope, 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 all fine. And we just hit save. So that's the first one. We're going to add the second one, and that will be the data store. Virtual machines, yes. Public, no, all the same. Save. Okay, and we're going to hit apply. Yes. Okay, and now we're going to test this by opening up a new Explorer window, and we're going to connect to our server. And after we log in, we have data store and we have temp. Well, that's correct. So let's go to temp and let's start transferring some files over. Well, 7 gig. Well, we'll take this one, 3.4 gigabytes. And let's copy this and let's paste it in here. And let's see how that goes. And how is our disk doing? Well, okay, maybe it could go faster, but I believe this disk isn't going any faster than that. It's a Western Digital Black, not the highest we've seen, but I think that's due to the Western Digital drive, this recording PC. Well, let's do this test again, but then with the same video file from the SSD to the same folder. We're just going to overwrite this, replace. No, a little bit faster, but the SSD is, yeah, well, it's not doing anything major now. Yeah, okay, so we tested both drives. So we have a working NAS, that's nice. So we could of course enable FTP mode. I'm not going to do that. The only thing I want to use with FTP is secure FTP. So I'm not going to enable this, but for that we need some certificates as well. Yeah, so we're going to get started with this in the near future. For now we just leave this off. We could always of course connect through SSH and do some file transfers if we need to. Then we have of course NFS. I'm not going to use this, have no use for it now. And rsync. Now, well, this could be something for the backup. So we have a look at this as well. It can act as a server. Yeah, nice. SMB, we just went here. SSH, as we mentioned before, on standard port 22. Then we have the diagnostics. Yeah, hopefully we don't need this as for now. System information. Okay, CPU usage 0%. That's really low. And we have 3% of 12 GB of RAM in use. Oh, a little bit of CPU activity. Yeah, nice. System logs. Services. Speaks for itself. Yeah, and of course some information about OpenMediaVault, about the project. You can donate through that. This is the basic installation of OpenMediaVault. As I mentioned before, we will run this simultaneously with the Unraid series. We're planning on doing some more content on Dockers as well. We can use OpenMediaVault for this, or we can use Unraid. The first Docker that we're going to cover on this channel will probably be Xioma for the civilian scam. And I already bought the package, so I'll already start playing with it. It's quite an advanced package for a civilian solution, so that could be fun. Yeah, as I mentioned before, this will run simultaneously with the R7 Unraid build. And yeah, you could see a video of OpenMediaVault, you could see a video of Unraid. Yeah, please let us know in the comment section what you would like to see on this NAS setup or on the Unraid setup. Yeah, I couldn't call it exactly a flawless setup. We had some issues along the way. Those seems to be solved. Everything is up to date and running. So yeah. With that, I will leave the video at this. If you have any comments, suggestions, maybe some advice, you can leave them down in the comment section as well. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!